I heard it.
Oh, all right, y'all. Y'all know what time it is. It's 7 o'clock.
On the dot.
On the dot. Thank you for tuning in to Let's Talk About It with Erica and Steph. And I'm Erica.
And I'm Steph, of course.
All right, we got an amazing guest here for a second time. You hear me?
Who's sponsoring us tonight?
Oh, you know what? I'm sorry.
Come on.
We are sponsored by Fields Real Estate and Investments.
And Exquisite You Beauty Boutique.
All right, now let's roll that back around. We can't forget about them sponsors because they very important. You feel me? We got an amazing guest for the second time, Miss Kay Powell. You hear me? Yes. We are excited to have her here, but it's on a different subject. You hear me? You know us with a woman with many, many talents.
We're going to utilize all them gifts.
We're going to utilize all her gifts
all
tonight.
them gifts.
In the house.
Yeah. She's willing to give all her gifts, and that's amazing. You know, we had you here last time for just talking about relationships, boundaries, you know, and you really gave us a lot of inspiration. But today, baby, what we're talking about is, you know, Uncle Sam is coming.
Yes, it is.
And you just speedy tax lady, so I'm gonna let you take it away and tell us a little bit about speedy taxes.
Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm so happy to be amongst these beautiful women. Yes. They make anybody look good, huh? Come on now. Anyway, I'm so glad to be here. My name is Dr. Kay Powell. I work hard for that, baby.
Sorry.
I'm calling you Mama Doctor.
No.
Mama
I'm still Mama.
Okay.
Dr. Mama.
Dr. Mama. Anyway, so 40 years experience, Speedy Tax Services. I love doing it. Actually, I started doing it in high school and just started helping seniors. And it was the best situation for me because numbers and people. And then I like to help people, serve people. So it was like, wow, this is perfect for me. And so I've been doing this now this year. 40. Can somebody say 40?
40.
Yeah. I'm celebrating 40 years. And so I'm excited. It is rough right now, but I came out because of the fact that I love these girls. And I love what they do. Let's talk about it. Man, that is really tight. So one of the things is April 15th, deadline coming up. It's coming up really fast. I am up to here in work, but that is so wonderful. But you still might be able to get in if you need me. But anyway, I am really locomotive doing taxes. And it's real exciting in the fact that the people coming now, most of them is probably old money, so they're not really trying to get there. But I'm greeting y'all with a smile. I'm really happy. I try to help everybody. This is what I love to do. It is really my passion. So let's talk about maybe some tips.
So wait a minute, I want to tell these people. So we've been asking you guys, I know you're very busy.
Yes.
So we've been telling you guys, get your tax questions in. See, y'all finna miss out on a blessing because y'all didn't want to get them tax questions in.
That's
So,
right.
see, if you would have got your tax questions, you would have been able to ask her live and direct, and she would have been able to give you some game.
That's right. And I got some game. I got the hookup. So IRS, I have to tell you, it's a blessing, and I thank God for it. IRS actually sends me clients.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, so you're on the website.
I'm on the inside.
On the inside.
Yeah. But I do have a website, speedytaxesusa.com.
Okay.
You can call me, you can make appointments there, and you can see what I charge. And I'm the most reasonable person there is, except for free. But I have done some free for some seniors. I even pick up some seniors because it's about serving the community.
Right.
But I really like what I do. I do have a lot of experience. They call me the West Coast Guru.
Okay.
The West Coast Guru.
Do you got some tips?
Yeah, let's talk about some tips.
Somebody who maybe in between a job and have a business.
Business is my guru. This is what I really like to do. So this is what I tell people. A lot of people get to the point where they used to get a lot of taxes back. Then their kids got older. They started making more money, and they really not getting that much. So I encourage people to get a business, some kind of gig, some kind of something where you can write off things because Trump took everything away. If you're a W-2, you can't write nothing off really. But if you're a 1099, you can write off your car, your cell phone. You can in-home deduction. So I tell people, get you a little something, get you a little hustle, a little something. And IRS, like you have like 3 to 5 years, you can take deductions, not make no money. And then after that, IRS called it in and said that's a hobby.
Right.
Right.
Okay, so I was going to ask you that, being an independent contractor myself,
Yes.
we dealt with that if you're not making money after so many years, it becomes a hobby. And then now, so as hairstylists and barbers,
Oh yeah.
for y'all,
Yeah.
if you hold a license, you need to file some kind of tax.
Or they'll file for you.
Or they gonna file for you.
Yeah. That's the thing about it. If you have a license, like the state of California, they'll say the average person, a barber, make $3,000 a month.
They're gonna tell you
And
how
they
much you
will,
make.
right, and they're going to file for you.
Mm-hmm.
So if you got a license, you need to file no matter what
Yes.
to show them what you're making. And then, but you can't always amend it. You can correct it.
Mhm.
If they file for you, come see me, go see a tax person, something, but you can correct it. But they are going to file something for you. What they do is say, hey, we going to catch you. You can't just have a license. So, it's really interesting about some of the tips. File anyway, because the people don't realize there's penalties for not filing.
Mm-hmm.
There's penalties for not paying. One of the things that people think, well, if I do an extension, which I'm telling everybody, if you start coming to me in about a week, it's going to be an extension. There's no way I can get it done, or it's too much pressure. But extension does not mean that you don't pay. It's an extension to file your paperwork.
Right.
So you won't get a penalty for failure to filing, but you still will get a penalty for failure to paying. So if you think you owe, you need to guess and just pay something. Even if it's not everything, just pay something. Because if not, you're giving money away.
Right.
Because you're going to get a penalty. So that's one of the things that I really encourage people to do. I don't know if people know student loans, you can write that off. Those are some of the credits. So everybody come to me, but you really got to be, earn income credit. You can get a child tax credit. There's student loan deductions. And then there's also the itemized deductions.
That's what I was going to ask you, actually. What's the difference between taking the standard deduction versus itemizing, and how do you know which is better?
Well, the way you know is there's a set number for standard. And if you itemize, then we will take whatever's best for you. So, but you got to have like a mortgage interest. You got to have real estate taxes. You got to have, people don't know you can still write off state and local taxes. You can write that off as itemized. And then there is property taxes from your car. There's charity donations. So you really have to look at it and see. But generally, if you don't have a property, it turns out, unless you're really a generous charity, some people really give.
Mm-hmm.
And that really makes a difference. You have medical deductions too. But the medical deductions is, people always say, it's not straight. It's the first 7.5% of your adjusted gross income, you can't write off.
Mm-hmm.
So if you got 7,500 or whatever, and it's 5,000, you only can write off 25.
Right.
So that's one of the things. But it has to be in the itemized deductions.
Now, I do have a question. So you keep saying cars, right?
Yeah.
Is it true your car has to be weigh a certain amount
No.
for you to be able to write it off?
No, property taxes. This is straight property
Okay.
taxes. Yeah,
So is that
registration.
car payment, or you can
No.
buy it straight out?
No, this is just property taxes.
Okay.
So now, if you are have a small business, you can take a depreciation on a car. It don't matter what size it is. And so that means that whatever you paid for the car, you can divide it by 5 years. You can take a depreciation. If you're leasing, you can write off all the leasing payments.
Okay.
If you are in a small business or any kind of business that you're writing on your taxes. But typically, the regular person that don't have a business, you only can write off your tax.
Right.
I didn't know that.
So
Yeah.
during COVID, it was a lot of pop-ups going on, and people had businesses.
Yes.
Right. And so I
That's how I
asked
came to
them-
Guru.
I asked them, hey, are you getting the PPP or the ED? And they were like, no, because I haven't filed my taxes and I don't have a proper business license.
And you don't have to have a business license for everything you're doing, but you do have to have taxes. You know Uncle Sam. So that they caught a lot of people up, and they fooled a lot of people too. They told them, hey, if you got a business, a gig, or whatever, you can qualify for PPP. Then they turned around and said, but you need your taxes. So you're going to pay me.
Yeah,
So
they
ain't giving you nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So I always tell people, PPP was the first time I've ever heard of that from my 70 years, right?
Yeah.
You don't know what's coming up again.
Exactly.
You have your stuff right. Have your I's dotted and your T's crossed, because people missed out on a lot of money. And we didn't pay that back.
Right.
That was
Didn't have to
that was
big money.
Come on, for a contract, you apply for a grant, anything. You got to have your paperwork done. Taxes is important because if people don't want to do it because they don't want them to know who they are, they don't want them to know what they make or whatever. But I always say, if you already ready, you don't have to get ready. I'm ready.
Stay ready, baby.
Come on.
Stay ready.
Stay ready. So
that's what I'm talking about. Well, what documents should people have ready before coming to see a tax preparer?
Well, typically most tax preparers have a checklist. On my website, speedytaxesusa.com, there you can go and get, it's called resources, you can get a checklist. And typically what it is we like to see what your taxes look like the year before, because there could be carryover, there could be loss, there could be different documents that could really help for the future. So I always tell people, bring your prior year taxes, new client, right? And then I want, driver's license, I make sure not who you say you are, right? I like your W-2, your 1099s, and then I have what they call an expense. Like if you have a business checklist where you can actually tell you what you can write off, and sometimes it's even more than that, but, and you can tell me what it was. Now, there are some people come with a shoebox. And when you come with a shoebox, that's an hourly rate. I will be glad to add up your stuff. I'll be glad to calculate your stuff. But you're going to pay the cost to be the boss.
Period. Because that's the boss when you don't got to add up your own stuff.
That's right. You the boss, baby. You the boss. You the big boss.
Or you can do like me. So my tax person, I have an envelope, and every 3 months she comes and grabs it.
Yeah, and you can do that. We have that relationship.
So that's bookkeeping.
But
that's a whole other thing.
Right, and I recommend, though, that a person actually does bookkeeping. QuickBooks has $22 for a small business a month.
I have a great app. It tracks everything for me. The expenses, the money coming in.
Right, there are so many different apps that they're out there, so you can do that. And then that way it's not a nightmare for your tax person.
Absolutely.
That way you always know where your business is. I always tell people, I need to be able to, if I was in the elevator with somebody and he said, I got $1 million, tell me what your financial status is. I'm going to be able to say, this is how much I make, and this is how much my expenses is, and this is how much I need.
Right, that part.
Now, how will I know that? Because I keep my bookkeeping up. I keep my books up, and I know what's going on.
Keep your books up,
Come
y'all.
on.
That's what I have at the boutique. So we have everything I put in goes right to the computer.
Why we didn't do a cheers, y'all?
Okay, well, let's go. Then we got excited. Okay, let's go. Cheers, y'all want to cheers?
We about to cheers.
Okay, let's go.
Never too
All right.
late.
Break time, we're going to cheer. Come on now. Come on.
Ever. All right. Ever. What we got here,
So
y'all?
we got some sparkling sparkling cider.
Sparkling cider. We got the peach kind, y'all.
They got the fancy here, so we got sparkling cider.
Yeah, that's what we got.
I never had no peach kind.
Oh yeah. Let me pour it like that.
Baby, to it.
Period.
Okay, thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And we got these fancy glasses.
You know it. And no other way.
And if she bought them, she could write them off. But it's Paul House.
Tell them.
Period.
We can write them off. Okay.
And so is the apple cider.
Yes. All of that. Okay.
All right.
The lights to us.
Yes.
Now we're going to continue talking about it. You hear me? Because we trying to help somebody today. Amen. I had my whole everything in the camera.
You did.
Okay.
We can't see nothing. You block it all. The thing about doing taxes is why I like to do it is I want my clients, they come with fear. I had a lady come yesterday. She was shaking, but by the time she left, she was steady. Because of the fact that people are so scared of Uncle Sam. And they're so scared, and this time puts fear in people. And so my whole thing is to try to relieve people and try to show them, hey, I'll take it on. Whatever the stress you got, just give it to me, because the people that do taxes, they're just people like us, IRS people.
Yes.
They're just people.
I know some of them on the back end.
Yeah,
over there.
yeah.
At the state.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Now, some of them wield their power.
Yeah.
And I just say thank you very much and hang up and call for the next one.
That's it. That's how you do it.
You got an issue.
Yeah, absolutely.
You got that power thing going.
So how should couples decide whether to file jointly or separately?
Well, we can prepare them both ways to see what is the best. Most couples, though, you have to think about this: unity, one accord, relationships. You got to think about that too, because no matter what, it evens out. If it's coming out of your pocket, it's still coming out the house, right?
Right.
But the thing about it is, I do tell couples, because there are other baggages. For instance, why you would want to do separate is prior, balance. You don't want to be, that person to have to be responsible for a balance you brought into the marriage.
Right.
And so maybe child support.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe your refund. So you want to file separately because in California, let me tell you, the federal, you can file an injured spouse, but the state you can't. It's community property. So with the state, they take it at all when you file jointly.
Oh, wow.
But with the federal, there is a form, and it's a injured spouse form. But that does take a while to process, but it will be processed. But if you file separately, there's no issue.
Right.
There's no issue. So, but you can look at that. So there are sometimes in a relationship, somebody has a lot of assets, and it would benefit for them to file separately. So there's different reasons, and I would sit down. My business, I have relationships with people. You're not my client. You're my friend. You're my whatever. But I have a relationship. I pray with my clients.
We together
I counsel my clients. So I sit down and I talk to you about tax planning. What's the best? Tax resolution. What works? What's going to work for you guys? And then I may do several scenarios to see what's the best, so that when you're making a decision, you don't feel like, wow, could I have done that? Could I have done this? I'm going to give them all to you, and we're going to sit down and do what's best.
Okay, so I have a question. So I notice a lot of 1099 entrepreneurs, sometimes they get in a funk and they go and get a real job. Is there a benefit of that?
It could be. So the benefit, what's the benefit of a real job? Benefits.
But a lot of them don't get benefits.
Well, then I don't know what the real job is. Okay, yes, there is another benefit.
When I did makeup, right? I worked for a makeup company. I worked for a store retail. And I got more back on my taxes from that.
The W-2.
Yes.
Yeah, but what is the point is not really to get a refund on your taxes. Rich people don't care about refunds. It's other.
They care about not owing.
Right. They try to
because that's where I'm at now.
Right. Because you're investing. Yeah. You really don't care about it. But a lot of people, so there is some benefits. Let's talk about that real quick. There is some benefits, and there's different ways to do it. First of all, if you're a W-2.
Hold on, we have a question.
Okay, sure.
What if both parties own homes but now want to buy a home if you're going to get married? Should you buy the home jointly? Or ever what I'm saying? What?
So they talking about purchasing a home together.
Purchasing a home.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, you can. It all depends. That's a whole other thing.
It is.
Because whoever got the best credit score. Yes. Okay. You can put the other person on the deed. You hear me?
Yes.
And so it's ways to work that as well.
Well, and it's about your future and where do you see? Are you trying to accumulate your wealth together, right? So maybe you have wealth here and wealth here, and then you're also trying to accumulate wealth together, or maybe you throw it all in together.
Yeah, but that's
so you got to know what your plan is.
Absolutely.
And how you're trying to know what's best. So that's a difficult question because it involves talking to each other and saying, hey, where do you see me in 5 years, or where do we see each other?
That ain't the question. Who ready to buy when you ready to buy? I bought this house by myself in the beginning. We refinanced, and Big Daddy made more money. We refinanced. He got onto the loan.
Yeah,
you know
there's so many ways of doing things. So whatever you want.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
that's how you work it.
Exactly.
Okay, and now I'm off the loan, and he back on the loan, and I'm on the deed. You know?
But you in California too, and when you're in California, when you move in like that, there is certain things that's going to tie you together. Community property.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So those are questions that you need to talk to a lawyer, or you need to talk to your tax person, you need to talk to your real estate.
Absolutely.
You need to talk to each other.
And you got to talk to each other to figure out your plan going forward, because one person could be a first time home buyer, and another one could be one too.
But I think that's real exciting that you have those options.
Yeah, ain't it?
This person's
beautiful.
Come on now, we're talking about wealth.